Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. This is Clash of the Titans, the video series here at Guy Boston Sports, where I go through each and every single ranked on ranked matchup throughout the entire college football season, giving you guys deeper insight, deeper analysis, but more importantly, more picks for each of these big-time pivotal college football showdowns. In today's video, the first of six, that's right, 6 Clash of the Titans videos coming out this week for Rivalry Week. We have number 4 ranked Georgia taking on number 23 ranked Georgia Tech in a big-time rivalry battle. And as always, guys, I've got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. All right, guys, with a new week of college football comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 3 picks to go ahead and share with you guys in today's video. We have a spread pick, we have a team total over pick, and we also have a player prop to go ahead and close out the video. And last things, guys, before we go ahead and get started here, make sure to comment down below who you think is going to win this big time matchup, as well as any other plays that you guys like. Sound off down below in the comment section. With all that being said, let's go ahead and start talking Georgia and Georgia Tech. All right, guys, 3:30 p.m. kickoff on Friday. My first pick in today's video being the spread pick. I'm not overthinking this one at all. Playing it very simple. We're going Georgia here on the spread, minus 11.5. Now, the actual spread is 13.5. If you watched my videos before, you know I like to kind of shave a point or two off or add a point or two off. I'm taking an underdog here to make my play a little easier to hit. I'm a big believer in give a little, get a little. You sacrifice a little value, but you get a better chance of hitting your play. So Georgia minus 11.5. I'm still grabbing a pretty good odds here, minus 136 over on Novik. Not bad at all. Still decent value. And honestly, this is a Georgia team, top 5 team in the country, a win, and they're in. As long as they beat Georgia Tech here, they are in the playoff. Lose, and things get a little dicier here. Winning and winning big obviously would help their seeding in the CFP. So I do think they're not going to hold back at all against a Georgia Tech team that is still ranked, but has definitely fallen off in recent weeks, and they have not looked good, honestly, since the Syracuse game back on October 25th. Their last 3 games, they have a loss to North Carolina State. They just narrowly beat Boston College by 2, and then they got beaten pretty bad at home last week against Pitt. So it's been a really rough last 3 or 4 weeks here for the Yellow Jackets, and they have no one else but themselves to blame. Their defense is very, very bad. Tied for 77th in the nation in scoring defense, giving up 25.8 points per game. 105th in passing yards allowed, 97th in rushing yards allowed. Tied for 104th in yards per play. They don't force turnovers. Their pass rush is okay, but not great. They're just a really bad defense. And although their offense does rank very well, you're running into a buzzsaw that is this Georgia Bulldogs defense. Now, their pass defense it's still top 50 in the nation, but not as strong as, let's say, their run defense. And obviously, that's key in this spot because Georgia Tech's offense, their strength comes from their running game. 17th in the nation right now, averaging 215.2 rushing yards per game this season. So that's where their strength lies. Georgia top 5 run defense in terms of yards per game. Now, to give some credit to Georgia Tech, they do have a pretty decent offensive line. This Georgia pass rush has not really been a strength of theirs this year, where in years past maybe it was. This year it hasn't been, but I think Georgia's defense is good enough to at least slow Georgia Tech down. On the flip side, though, the same can't be said for Georgia Tech's defense. I think Georgia's offense is going to have a field day in this game. And even though Georgia Tech might score some points, I just don't think it's going to be enough to cover this spread. Georgia is a dominant team. We've seen them cover the spread of minus 11.5 in 55% of their games this year, including 3 straight games. 2 of those games, by the way, over Texas and Mississippi State. Some pretty decent SEC competition there. They've been on a roll lately, and again, they're going to try to finish the season with a nice little exclamation point and close out the year strong with another ranked win into their resume and go into the CFP or even the SEC championship game on a very strong note. Giving some credit to Georgia Tech, they have covered the spread of plus 11.5 in 82% of the games, but 2 of the last 3, that NC State loss and that Pitt loss, they didn't. So Georgia Tech, it's been a good year. They're still ranked at this point, but I think after this week, they probably won't be. I think they're going to get blown out pretty aggressively here by Georgia. Now, the last time these 2 teams played, Georgia Tech did keep it close. And to be fair, again, to Georgia Tech, giving them some credit here, Georgia Tech has covered the spread in like 3 of the last 4 matchups against Georgia. So they have been able to give Georgia a nice fight. Last year, you see, it was a 2-point loss against Georgia. However, I do think this year's Yellow Jackets, they're just in bad form coming into this game. Their defense is just so bad. Gunnar Stockton, this entire Georgia offense should have a field day. I just don't see Georgia Tech keeping it close. I could be wrong here, of course. We are, handling sports betting. You never really know what's going to happen. But I think with the numbers we have, with the matchup we have, with the recent form of both teams, I think you can see Georgia is clearly the better team with a better matchup in this spot. So I'm taking Georgia there minus 11.5. My second pick in today's video, we have a team total over pick. I'm going Georgia team total over 35.5 points, which I am grabbing for minus 130 over on DraftKings. So again, pretty decent value. Now for this one, the data is not as strong in the favor of Georgia. You see just 4 times this year, they've cashed this over of 35.5 points, averaging 33.73 points per game this season. That being said, though, you do see a handful of games where they literally missed it by 1 point. Each of the last 2 games, they scored exactly 35 points and just missed the mark. Kentucky, 35 points, just missed the mark. They scored at least 20 points in every game this season. So although the actual hit rate's on the lower side of things, they're still averaging just shy of 34 points per game, and they're pretty close to that mark pretty much every game, minus Auburn, Florida, Alabama, a couple of games where they played some tougher competition. But I wouldn't say Georgia Tech's defense is tougher competition. As we've already covered, this Georgia Tech defense is terrible. Head-to-head, they obviously scored 44 points last year when these two teams played. And going down below, again, these last 3 games for Georgia Tech, kind of reiterating all the things we've said. 42 points to Pitt, 34 points to BC, and 48 points to NC State. If Boston College can score 34 points against this Georgia Tech defense, Georgia, who is a top 26 scoring offense in college football, averaging over 33 points per game. Again, they're averaging 33 points, and they play an SEC schedule. I just think them scoring 36 points or more against this Georgia Tech defense is not that crazy. And again, they're going to want the style points. They're going to want to end the season off on a very strong note. I think here destroying Georgia Tech and scoring a lot of points is very realistic. I don't think they're going to let up in this spot. The last 3 weeks, we've seen teams do it time and time again. Again, NC State scored 48. I don't know about you guys, but I think I would personally take Georgia's offense over NC State's offense. And the same goes for Pitt. I would probably take Georgia's offense over Pitt's offense. So I think Georgia's got a really good matchup spot here. Really bad defense. Again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but it's just the truth. This Georgia Tech defense is truly really, really bad. In the last couple weeks, they've been one of the worst in college football. So Georgia here should roll and score a healthy amount of points. All right, guys, very quickly, before I go ahead and finish off with my final pick in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about our promo we're running over at the Fade Me store. Now, through December 2nd, we are offering up to 50% off on our merchandise over at the Fade Me store, link down below in the description. We have a number of different sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, shorts, so many different items on our store. And again, everything is up to 50% off for this week up to December 2nd through Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. Again, link down below in the description. Check out that special promo for the Fade Me store. Shout out to Ev for running that store, putting up a ton of great new items. We have the beer and bet line just came out, the football couch club lineup, the just bet it, the gambler, all those things all available right now. And again, one more time, up to 50% off. Link down below in the description for the Fade Me store. And last but not least, guys, our third and final pick in today's video, we have our player prop. And you probably could have told or knew where I was going with this, right? Gunnar Stockton over 239.5 passing yards in this game. We're grabbing it for minus 131 over on DraftKings. Similar to the team total over prop, the data may not be great at first glance. You see Gunnar Stockton has only cashed the over in 27% of his games this year. That's 3 of 11 games, averaging 224.09 passing yards per game this season. He's only cashed it 3 times versus Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. And again, there's some risk involved because of the fact that he hasn't cashed it much, but considering the matchup one more time, you got to go ahead and bet that he's going to have a big game here. You do look at Georgia Tech, 105th in the nation, giving up 241.6 passing yards allowed per game. So all they have to do is give their average up, and Gunnar Stockton will go ahead and cash the over. And Gunnar Stockton is one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Again, a lot of the numbers are going to point against him here because they are a run-heavy team. And to be fair, they're still going to have that success on the ground game. Looking at some running back props for Georgia may not be a bad idea, but I do think given the spot, this could be a little bit of a resume booster for Gunnar Stockton. Looking down below here, past quarterback performances. Now, Mason Heinschel, the quarterback for Pitt, he did not cash the over. He had just 226 passing yards. But before that, C.J. Bailey for NC State had 340, and Ricky Collins for Syracuse had 224. And Ricky Collins has not really looked the best since taking over for Steve Angeli over at Syracuse. So I think it's a good spot. Again, you might want to, some people might say it's better to take a running back prop in this spot, I just think this is Gunnar Stockton, who is technically in the Heisman running. Could be a nice resume booster for him. Big game, rivalry game. He could have some success here on the, through the air as well as on the ground. So I like Gunnar Stockton here over 239.5 passing yards. All right, guys, and that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Again, this is one of 6. That's right, 6 Clash of the Titans videos coming out this week. So make sure, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel and stick around for all of those videos. We have a very good record, 62 and 33, I believe, is the record now this year. I think that's right, 62 and 33 on the season for our straight bets. So we've been crushing it all year long. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't been watching Clash of the Titans, you're missing out on free picks and ultimately free money. So make sure to go ahead and watch all those videos as they come out. Until next time, guys, hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead and make some money.